The Walt Disney Company and Bob Iger are very eager to stop Gina Carano and her lawsuit from getting their dirty laundry all over the public infowebs. Today we'll tell you why they're so scared of having Kathy testify, and the crazy Hail Mary the House of Mouse is getting ready to throw. Is it another throwdown with Ron DeSantis 2.0? Another failure on the way for the House of Mouse? We'll explain right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, of all sizes, of all backgrounds, creeds, and everything in between. Today, we are ready to bring you the explanation of entertainment that you so need, including that all-important thing of keeping you ahead of the culture curve. Helping us do so today is Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for That Park Place. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing very well. It's pronounced J. Campbell.
Oh, J. Campbell. Yes, sorry. I'll get the syllable correct next time. Folks, take a look at this. As we do, click the like button. Disney desperate. That is clear now. They do not, repeat it, they do not want Kathleen Kennedy taking the stand. They do not want discovery into her emails. They don't want you to know what was going on between Leslie Headland and others when they were allegedly conspiring to take down Gina Carano and promulgate their propaganda instead of her very moderate positions. This is out of thedailyjournal.com. And it says Disney wants review of free speech ruling in actress termination case. A federal judge previously ruled that Disney had failed to show how First Amendment protections apply to its decision to fire actress Gina Carano over political social media posts. Her attorneys say Disney's attempt to relitigate that decision is based on a false premise. Now, folks, we're not going to read this article because it is behind a paywall, but I want to show you that in the deepest, most important legal minds out there, they are covering this because it's a big deal. Jonas, can you walk us through what it is that Disney's so scared of?
Well, at this point, Disney has filed a stay. And I'm not going to try to use the word interlocutor. See, they are trying to use it. I'm not going to use the actual word there for it. But essentially, they have tried to say, well, Gina doesn't need to depose these people. Her attempts at discovery don't need to go this far, even though, and Gina's people have already responded to this. They're saying, you say we can't interview this person, but you want to use their testimony against Gina Carano. So you say that she can't even bring her own former agent to the stand, but you want to use the testimony of that agent against Gina Carano. So it's a lot of double standards and a lot of, oh, these people are too important for you to be wasting their time, even though they are the people who would have been the ones to make the decision here. So it's essentially Disney, as they often do, trying to say rules for thee, but not for me.
And folks, I'm here to tell you, they are terrified of the idea of Kathleen Kennedy being on the stand, being up there, having to give sworn testimony. They are terrified of discovery into the Lucasfilm emails. Jonas, you and I may not be legal experts, but we have someone who is, and that is, of course, the attorney for That Park Place, Ron Coleman. You sat down with him recently. I'd like to bring parts of that conversation into our video today and get your thoughts on it. And specifically, folks, I just want to remind you all out there how hard Disney is now fighting to stop Gina. And remember that Gina is backed by Elon Musk. So although you must have been told a baker's dozen number of times by the Access mainstream shill drive-by media that you should chill because this was no big deal, they're beginning to squeal. And yes, that's too much rhyming. I understand. Here's Ron.
Gina Carano is now in a position where she can proceed with her litigation and not only possibly win it, but also reveal a lot about how Disney makes its political decisions, or rather the political component of how they make decisions in their entertainment business. And in fact, when the litigation was first filed and then after Gina's success in turning back the motion to dismiss under Federal Rule of Procedure 12b-6 for failure to state a claim, all everybody was saying was discovery, discovery, discovery. So now Disney is doing something which is a really kind of a Hail Mary and saying, there should not, Your Honor, you really screwed up. And we're going to have to take this to the Ninth Circuit and they're going to spank you. And you need to not only grant us permission to do that, and I'll explain that in a second, but also to stay the proceedings in this case, to put a freeze on everything, because your decision was so bad that the world will come to an end if we have to give the discovery that's being requested by Disney.
So, Jonas, I would say that a bad strategy for any company out there, I'm not a lawyer, by the way, but just human nature is that if you tell someone who has authority over you that they've done something really, really dumb, and then you kind of threaten them saying, well, we're going to take it to your superior, that doesn't tend to work. I just know that from experience. Is this maneuver by Disney to stop Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger from having to testify? Do you think it's better or worse than claiming that if you had Disney Plus as a trial account in 2019, you cannot sue over wrongful death against Disney? Which one of those two legal attempts from the genius Disney attorneys in the past 2 weeks has been worse?
Well, I'm going to say the second one is worse because I think there's a better case to be made that Bob Iger is important and has a lot on his plate, rather than say that just because you signed up for a free trial so you could watch whatever pablum that Disney was peddling on Disney Plus, that you don't have the right to sue over a wrongful death alleged. With something like this, none of these people take the stand on a regular basis. And Ron explained this much more beautifully than I ever could here.
And let me plug,
just because
you guys did about 30 minutes, folks. We're not going to cover even close to that. I highly recommend, and it's in the video description down below. You all need to go watch this fantastic conversation. Legal expertise. I mean, Ron has argued at the Supreme Court and won. Folks, we're not going to the D League when it comes to this kind of thing. This is Ron is an A-lister of A-listers, and Jonas, you did a phenomenal job guiding and talking through that conversation with him. Folks, go check it out. Click the link below. Jonas, continue your thought, please.
Well, and I'll also that Ron Coleman has represented people that you definitely have heard of, no matter where you are on this planet. I can't say who that is. Essentially, this was set up so that you couldn't, like, if you slipped and fell at a McDonald's franchise in the middle of Wyoming, that you couldn't bring the CEO of McDonald's into court because that sets a standard that means that essentially the CEO of a company like McDonald's would be in court every single day for every single incident. So this was intended to protect things like that. But if Gina Carano was fired by Kathleen Kennedy, if someone on the level of a Kathleen Kennedy released a statement to say that our actress is deplorable or whatever awful language they ended up using because they want to distance themselves from her statements, if she signed off on it, she's directly related to it. And Disney is trying to say, no, she's so important. She had nothing to do with this. It strains credibility here.
Credulity, even. And I would say, by the way, Jonas, that there's a chance here that Kathleen Kennedy's career could be impacted by this. We'll leave it at that. But let's go back to Ron Coleman for some more of his thoughts on this ever more intriguing legal case that Disney is fighting tooth and nail, trying to block. They are scared to death of this.
When you have that kind of general mediation order, all the judge is really saying is before there's either a summary judgment motion or a trial, we're going to sit down for mediation. But at no time before that do you have to really do that. And therefore, discovery will proceed. And that's really valuable for the plaintiff because the plaintiff doesn't know what to accept as an offer. And in fact, the defendant doesn't know what to offer until both parties know what evidence might end up being before the court on summary judgment or before a jury at a trial. So yes, they've proceeded with demands for paper discovery. That when I say they, in this case, I mean Gina and her lawyers have proceeded with demands for discovery, which Disney doesn't want to comply with. And so now they're pulling the emergency brake.
So at this point, Disney, well, now that Gina's team has responded here, they are responding to Disney basically saying, we cannot comply with discovery because it would be too damaging to this company. It's not relevant to this case. And we don't think that you need to have Bob Chapek or Kathleen Kennedy or John Favreau because they're just too darn important. That's just ridiculous. You're reaching for the stars here when you try to have these people take the stand or do depositions.
Well, we are going to, we'll talk, as you mentioned before we started recording, about the specifics of that, the page 12 stuff. But that is really the kind of argument you usually make on a discovery motion. Where you're seeking a motion, a protective order, saying the discovery that they're seeking is overly broad. It's not appropriate for this kind of case. And there is a general rule that you don't get to, just because you sue Ford Motor Company doesn't mean you get to depose the CEO. You're suing them because they, a defective tire rim. It doesn't work that way. The merits of that we can discuss when that comes up. But more broadly, what they're saying here is, again, we want to appeal to the Ninth Circuit because you really blew it, and you can imagine how much judges go for that.
All right. So exactly as you were saying there, Jonas, and I just want to ask you, what is Disney so scared of? What are they terrified? What is it that they think will come out, in your estimation?
The truth, which is the thing that they have been scared of ever since day one. This is a company.
That's a perfect answer. Oh my gosh. Well done.
Well, you set it right up for me.
Have you done this before, sir? Have you done this YouTube thing before?
No, but I have been following the situation, and I've listened to Miss Carano talk, and says, don't try to ruin my life with lies when yours could be ruined with the truth. And frankly, that's what we'd like. We'd all like a little bit of that from Disney. They're so good at storytelling on the screen, and eventually they aren't so good at storytelling on screen, and they focused on being good storytellers to investors and to the media, and for some reason they've given up on being an entertainment company and started being essentially a media apparatus for propaganda purposes, and that's really the most disappointing thing of all for Walt Disney's company, founded on the hard facts that allowed America to be. That's a little reference to Disneyland's opening crawl there. Instead, they just want to make sure that everybody stays in line, everybody listens to whatever they want to tell you about how the world works. And frankly, I find their propaganda boring at this point. And I would like for us to be able to move on from all the lies that they spew on a regular basis. I hope Miss Carano gets her day in court. I wish that there were cameras there, and I wish that Bob Iger took the stand so that he could be asked all kinds of questions under penalty of perjury, that if he's going to tell a lie, that there has to be amazing consequences behind it. I don't know if I'll ever get my wish, but I'm hoping it happens. That's Jonas Campbell's wish, not Disney's wish.
Well, given some of the stuff that's been coming out in the news over the past year about Bob Iger and the way he acts behind the scenes, you can kind of understand why he would not want to be deposed, why he would not want to give testimony. It has sounded to us, places like CNBC, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and others, Forbes as well, they have reported on it is like a middle school cafeteria with angry mean girls. And that's what the C-suite apparently is like. Gina Carano getting very close to exposing that. And I think Disney has put on its heels largely because they thought they had a buddy, they thought they had a pal in this judge. This judge was picked by their side. And that has not gone their way because the judge has not sided with them. Now they're trying to invoke the Ninth Court, the Circuit of Appeals, bring them in and say, oh, well, these are our pals too, and they're going to really get mad at you for not doing what we want you to do. Let's see what Rod has to say about more of this.
Disney basically is taking the position that because they're Disney, because they're in the entertainment business, they are immune from essentially any aspect of anti-discrimination laws, and in this case, the California anti-discrimination law. What they constantly go back to in this filing is Disney has not enunciated how it's harmed by having Gina Carano do the job that she was doing, or by not rehiring her to do the job that she was going to be rehired to until apparently some political interference occurred. Disney's position is we make that decision. We make that call. It's good enough for us to make that call because we're in the expression business, and that's the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects that extra special, and therefore anti-discrimination laws don't apply to us. And what Gina's lawyers are saying, you had the opportunity on your motion to dismiss to argue exactly what it was, what the standard is in your company, how things work, that makes this a business decision and not a political decision.
Not a retaliation decision.
Not an impermissible retaliation, because companies can and do retaliate all the time, but under California law, they're limited in doing so if it's based on a political affiliation. Now, it would have really been hard for Disney to do that because it was a motion to dismiss, and they can't really submit factual arguments that contradict the allegations of the complaint that are plausible. But Disney also did not even enunciate a policy, a rationale. What Disney said was, we are in the expression business, and therefore we have complete discretion over what and who we shall be affiliated with in the public eye. And what the judge said in her opinion denying Disney's first motion was, that's too broad. You have to have some basis for saying that what Ms. Carano did can be justified, even according to you, not only on strictly speaking business criteria, but even on First Amendment, even on expressive criteria. All you've really said is we have a right to do it because we're in the First Amendment business, and that's not good enough.
Jonas, can you name me one politically conservative actor currently working on Star Wars?
Oh, wow. If I knew, I wouldn't say right now, because those people that
you don't want them to get Gina
bounce on them. I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors who's based. I'll say that, but I'm not going to say their name.
How's this then, Jonas?
I would ruin them if I.
How's this then, Jonas? Is it dangerous to be a political conservative and working for Disney?
Absolutely. Why do you think? There's
exactly
no way that I would betray them by. But this is the entire. There is a chilling effect at this point. You can't even be a political moderate. And look at what Mark Hamill is doing to try to drum up a few extra bucks before his career's over. My goodness. Right now, okay. These people are essentially taking their career into their own hands if they come out as anything other than completely left-leaning at this point. Gina Carano wasn't even voicing conservative viewpoints when she said that, just not left-leaning viewpoints. She didn't even say, I'm going to go vote for this guy. She didn't say anything about economic policy. She just said, hey, I don't want to do this thing, and I think we're not being very cool to people who want to do this thing. So that's not right-leaning. That it is not right-leaning in any way other than defying the totalitarian views that were prevalent of the day. And they called her reprehensible. So what does that say about the state of Lucasfilm? I say that means that Lucasfilm is essentially lost when it comes to actual viewpoints, which is probably why they fail to connect with large swaths of the public.
And that's probably why there is an ongoing now. I don't want to call it a civil war because, well, that would portend that someone might win when they're not going to. I mean, Star Wars theory has already won the battle, but you see these channels and these ancillary kind of voices out there trying to fight over crumbs of a now deceased franchise, and it's fascinating to watch. But apparently, that infighting and that vitriol, it scales from the bottom with the access drive-by YouTubers, and it goes all the way up to the CEO of the company. And that's just fascinating to me to see the venom flowing in both directions, top to bottom, inside all of this hierarchy. These people, they need some goodness and some kindness in their lives. I'll tell you that. Jonas, you did a phenomenal job. And of course, we are so appreciative of Ron Coleman giving it his time to you into That Park Place. Folks, if you're not yet subscribed to That Park Place, you really need to be. I mean, some of the stuff that Jonas and Vash are putting out there is just incredible, and the rest is excellent. So get over there and subscribe. Jonas, what do you guys have coming out soon?
Well, of course, we're talking about the fact that essentially it's been revealed that Bob Iger begged Gavin Newsom to shut down Disneyland while Bob Chapek was CEO. Gavin Newsom wanted Disneyland to stay open during the lockdowns, and Bob Iger said, no, please do this for me, while Bob Chapek's got the stock price up as high as it has ever been at the Walt Disney Company. If you don't think Iger was sabotaging Chapek the whole way through, while, by the way, he still worked for Disney, he never stopped working for Disney, sabotaging the CEO at every possible point he could. Amazing. It's a miracle that Bob Chapek didn't sue Bob Iger at this point. And at this, I wonder if that's still in the cards at this point. I don't think there's an NDA. I don't think there's a non-compete. I don't think that there is an arbitration agreement out there that is strong enough to cover the massive amount of shareholder wealth that has been destroyed very specifically by the actions of Bob Iger.
So what you're saying is, if Chapek sues Iger, we're going to do a 12-hour live stream where we just uncontrollably laugh and cry into the mic.
Look at what this guy has done. Man, the shine has come off of that apple, hasn't it?
Oh, boy. Folks, tune into the Pro Show tomorrow. It's the 100th episode, and we are going to talk about how the media and investors now seemingly have turned on Bob Iger. It is something to behold. This lawsuit's going to be part of it, we believe. But get over there and subscribe to That Park Place. On the way out your door, folks, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts on all of this. And folks, we hope you will continue to tune into this great content we try to produce for you each and every day. Thrice is nice, 3 videos a day, and getting ready to cross that 90,000 subscriber threshold. When you do it, we will certainly celebrate with you, because you're the energy, the electricity that drives it all. Folks, until the next time we have a chance to talk, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
You'd better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio. WDW Pro Music Channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube. One of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga. He's Jose. That one seems a little bit foreign to you.